Restart. Okay, on to SCP-027. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The host of SCP-027, currently Subject 027-2, is to be kept in a 5 by 5 meter containment cell with a grated, raised floor connected to a strong vacuum system. All creatures removed from the subject's containment cell are to be incinerated, except for a small portion to be diverted for analysis and necropsy. The cell is to be cleaned and inspected for structural damage daily. Subject 027-02 must be monitored by at least 2 personnel at all times. Any unusual behavior or vital signs on the part of the subject or the appearance of any usual species in the subject's vicinity must immediately be reported to Level 4 personnel. Security personnel assigned to 027 must be inoculated against all known animal-borne pathogens and must be armed with tranquilizer guns, with standing orders to subdue the subject if the need arises. Until 027 is better understood, no personnel of Level 4 clearance or higher should approach within 200 meters of the subject. Description: 027 appears to be a phenomenon of unknown source that seems to be tied to one human subject, 02, at any time. As hosts 027 subject 02 is constantly surrounded by swarming vermin that are drawn to his location. The subject does not appear to be able to assert control over these creatures in any way, and is in fact prone to the occasional attack from feral specimens. These creatures have also been known to attack personnel who approach too closely. Wherever the subject goes, an initial swarm of flying insects, such as gnats and flies, start to form a cloud around him, usually within 2 to 3 minutes. Shortly thereafter, crawling animals, including lice, cockroaches, worms, spiders, data expunged, mice, and rats will begin to appear. The longer the subject remains in a location, the more vermin will gather there. When the subject leaves a location, some of these creatures will follow, but most will disperse. 027 has been known to transfer between hosts. Once, upon death of the first known host, Subject 01, see Appendix 1 for more information. Since 027 could likely repeat this feat upon the death of Subject 02, all high-value personnel should be kept far away from the current host until more about 027 is understood. 027 is also likely transferred between hosts an unknown number of times before containment. Research into potential previous hosts has commenced, with preliminary evidence suggesting that 027 may have existed for at least redacted years. It is not yet known how 027 chooses or attracts animals, or even what 027 exactly is. The previous host never expressed having any sort of communication with a separate conscious entity. Analysis of current host has been inconclusive at best. Appendix 1. Timeline of significant events. 04-1990. Subject 01 is discovered in an abandoned warehouse outside Redacted that had been completely overrun by rats, cockroaches, and other vermin, and is cataloged and contained as SCP-027. Subject is described as a Caucasian male in his late 30s, of average height, but gaunt, filthy, and covered in bites and scratches. The subject also shows symptoms of degraded mental health, evidence of heavy use of alcohol and illicit drugs, and signs of prolonged sleep deprivation. 10/2000. Subject expires. Autopsy shows that more than 70% of subject's body. Data expunged. A colony of rats nesting in the subject's abdomen for at least redacted generations. 10/2000. Between 140 and 150 hours after the subject's death, Security officer redacted. Reports being awoken by breathing problems due to a large housefly having crawled up his nose. Later shown to have lain eggs. Subsequent observation lead to categorization of officer redacted as Subject 2702. The original host is reclassified as Subject 01 and 025 is redefined. Data expunged. Appendix 2. Transcript interview of 027201. The following interview was conducted on 10/2000, shortly after Subject 27-02 was identified and transferred to the containment cell that had housed Subject 01. Dr. Jameson. Good morning, Officer Redacted. How are you feeling? Subject. Scared. Confused. Mostly scared, though. Understandable. Itchy. I feel like I need to shower all the damn time. But what about inside? Do you feel anything different inside you, like a presence? No, I don't think so. I haven't really noticed anything like that. You haven't felt anything since the original host died, besides the itchy? No, I can't say I have. What about any sort of voices or compulsions? No, I haven't felt anything except bugs crawling all over me. I feel dirty and scared, and Doc, what about my family? You gotta get this thing out of me so I can see them again. Of course. We're gonna do everything we can to get 27 out of you. God, I'm so sorry, Redacted. Shortly after this interview took place, Dr. Jameson and several other members of the research team for 027 were transferred to the SCP-1772 project. And I suppose we'll get to SCP-1772 when we do. That Rat King one. Oh God, imagine having eggs laid in your nose. That's terrible. Item number SCP-28. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. No special means are needed to contain at this time, as SCP-028 has not shown any change in size, position, or shape during the entire period of its containment, but access must be restricted. Currently, 028 is contained on site redacted, as 028 is not transportable by any known means. 028 is sealed by 6 by 6 by 3 meter, 20 by 20 by 10 foot concrete room with a single door, with 2 armed personnel stationed outside. Only authorized personnel are to be allowed exposure to 028, and extreme care must be taken at all times. While 028 itself is harmless, the effect can be very damaging to the impaired. See document EL 028-1125. Description: 028 is located in an abandoned storage yard outside a copper mine in northern Michigan. 028 has no detectable physical presence of any kind, but its effect occurs in a 2.1 meter, 7 foot cube around what is commonly held as the center of 028. All forms of scanning and testing in the area of 028 have shown no abnormal readings. Adding or removing objects or attempting to remove dirt from under 028 has no effect in altering the size or shape of 028's area of effect, nor the onset or quality of the effect. Subjects entering 028 within 3 to 6 seconds struck by total and complete knowledge of a subject. The knowledge thus far is completely random in both size and usefulness, and sometimes goes unnoticed for extended periods of time. More profound knowledge generally has a stronger effect, such as, with some cases, expunged. See document EL 28-1125. This effect can be experienced multiple times by exiting and re-entering 028, but it can result in increasingly strong migraines and dizziness after 2 exposures. 028 came into Foundation attention after research into news reports of a local miner who submitted a design for a cold fusion reactor to the U.S. Patent Office. Mr. Redacted reported, "It just came to me, like a bolt out of the blue." News and subjects were suppressed and contained after discovery of 028, and the reactor designs implemented in the containment of SCP-1995. Subsequent testing of 028 has yielded mixed results. Document EL-028-1114. Partial information retrieval log for 15 redacted. Note, all knowledge is perfect, total, and eidetic. Every phone book entry for New York entry is 1998. Of every phone book entry for New York City in 1998, how to design the internal combustion engine to run on human blood using only pre-existing parts. Note, full redesign takes 4 hours and runs on higher efficiency than gasoline. Location of keys for a Buick LeSabre. The proper method of care for a mole rat colony. Origin and history of 12 SCP objects. The main expunged. Family history of the Blackthorn family, located in London, England. If I remember correctly, we'll get to one of the Blackthorn family members eventually, as he has a bunch of different fun stories about many interesting SCPs. Anyways, geological structure of the Earth beneath Greenland, including several unknown caves and expunged. Document EL-028-1125 log. Subject D-1182, Subject 2, SCP-28. Subject began to cry and went into fetal position, showing signs of high distress. Unresponsive to questioning and outside stimulus for several days, lapsed into catatonia shortly after stating, "This is not life." Subject passed into coma and died shortly thereafter. COD was attributed to shock. Or cause of death. E-127. Agent Redacted accidentally exposed to 028. Agent showed sudden signs of sudden surprise and bemusement. When questioned, Agent requested a moment to gather my thoughts, please. After several seconds, Agent laughed, shook his head, and removed his surface pistol from its holster. Agent then shot and wounded Dr. Redacted and killed Agents Redacted and Redacted before being restrained. Post-incident interrogation revealed Agent Redacted had extensive knowledge to classified Foundation activities and several SCP objects he had not been previously exposed to, including SCP-2669. Any Foundation personnel found to have entered 02's area of effect are to be detained indefinitely. Also, with the D-1182, if I remember correctly, there was a theory floating about that what they learned was that they were within the SCP documents from our reality. They found out how much of a fictional character they were. I want to real quick just double check which one 2669 is. Okay, it's not one I know, so... Okay. Document EL-028-1128 log. Experiment 189. Subject D-9843 was exposed to 028 at 11:46. Examination of subject revealed abnormal respiratory actions. 0319 at 13:37. Questioning revealed subject had learned to recycle the carbon dioxide inside his body. At 17:21, repeated attempts to teach skill to other D-class personnel failed. 12:11, subject terminated. 7/18/1503, autopsy reveals no abnormal organ formations. 1837, researchers note, Dr. Redacted. Seriously, how the hell did he do that? Okay. take a drink of water. Item number SCP-029. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. 029 is to be incarcerated in a Class 5 containment cell. She is to be allowed access of nothing of a physical nature. Her containment cell is to be placed behind a triple airlock to avoid her escape. As of Incident 0929-34A, 029 is no longer to be fed, as she does not appear sustenance to survive. There are to be 3 guards on duty at all times on her cell, and 2 guards on monitor duty. Floodlights have been installed in the walls of the containment chamber, and are to be on at all times. Once a month, the chamber is to be cleaned and checked for defects. Under absolutely no circumstances are any men to encounter 029 in any manner. Any males who encounter 029 are to be held under Class 3 detention for interviewing before termination. That's okay, Melon. Don't worry about it. It'll still all be up on YouTube and the Twitch VOD. And again, I'm going to be doing this for a while, so there's all sorts of time to get in whatever flirting and question you want to get in. 029 has requested a bed, denied, a blanket, denied, books, denied, clothes, denied. This is ridiculous. The girl can't even have clothes? We're not animals. Let her cover herself. Dr. Erica Bowden. Dr. Bowden, you were granted permission to deliver clothes to 029. After 029-53B, anyone who has potential access to 029 is first required to watch surveillance tape 029 Bowden as a reminder of threats involved when working with SCP items and 029 in particular. 029 appears to be a prepubescent female of Asiatic Indian descent. She appears to suffer alopecia universalis. Over 80% of her pigmentation is a true black, while the rest of her skin has a complete lack of melanin to the point of albinism. Her eyes are also a dark black in color. 029 has severe homicidal tendencies and displayed a remarkable ability to use any item as a weapon. However, she has a severe compulsion against shedding blood, preferring instead to strangle her victims. 029 has demonstrated dexterity and physical reactions 4 times as fast as the average human. 029 has also displayed extensive resistance to damage of all forms. Both of these extra human abilities are greatly hampered when in the presence of bright or direct light, natural or artificial. In addition, any males who come within the presence of 029, an area defined by her current perception, find them pliant to her will. Such males become willing to kill or even die for 029. 029 refers to her as Redacted, which roughly translates to Daughter of Darkness, Daughter of Shadows, or Daughter of Night. Interviews with 029 have proven difficult to conduct due to 029's constant attempts to kill or convert all who speak with her. Over her years of captivity, the black patches on her skin have increased in size. This is a different one. The teenage succubus SCP is not Keter, nor is she hostile in any manner. 029 was first brought to the Foundation's attention by an agent working in rural India. An attempt on his life led him to a small cult of men who claimed to be Thuggees in service to the daughter. Several weeks of investigation proved that they believed the world to be in its last years of the Kali Yuga, and that by sacrificing 1 million lives to the Daughter of Darkness, they could raise their goddess and end the world. They also believed that only sacrifices performed through strangulation added to this tally. Events led to the agent. Events led the agent to their mountain forces, where he discovered 029. After said loss of said agent, data expunge, which ended in our acquisition of 029. 7 years after capture, 029 began showing anomalous growth in her black pigmentation. When she questioned about it, she claimed her followers were on the move once more. Investigation led us to a concentration of so-called thuggies that escaped our initial foray. After discovering that all her followers were there for one of their holy days, a tactical airstrike was called in. When the first bomb dropped, 029 awoke from slumber, screaming at the top of her lungs. 029 continued to scream for the next 4 hours, ranting and raving that we were killing her people. Since said event, growth of black pigmentation has stopped completely. Since said event, 029 has redoubled her efforts to escape. SCP-2820 has been proposed as a possible method of neutralization should the situation worsen. I'm just gonna real quick check what 2820 is. Ah, it's a weapon. Okay. We'll get to really figuring out later. Yeah, this one's, the Daughter of Darkness is significantly meaner than the Teenage Succubus. Teenage Succubus is more tragic than anything. Item number SCP-030. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-030 is to be held at Site-17 within a modified human containment cell. Minor adaptations are to accommodate its stature, such as appropriately scaled workspace and chair are to be included. Lighting within the cell may be altered upon request of 030 to a maximum of 2,000 lumens via a simple dimmer switch. Should the need to render 030 inert arise, staff may extinguish the lighting from the exterior switch and draw blackout curtains as necessary. Standard night vision equipment is available for observation of 030 in its inert state. 030 may request materials for personal research every 90 days. All previous requested materials are to be collected and destroyed prior to delivery of new materials. All materials are to be evaluated and screened by both research and security staff. 030 is to be denied access to any modern scientific journals or texts, and fiction is to be restricted to works produced no later than 1623 CE to preserve the integrity of its innate knowledge. Staff wishing to consult with 030 in writing are to place a formal request, document number 030-RS/B, with the supervising researcher on duty. All correspondence is to be retained. Staff wishing to consult with SCP-030 in person are to submit a formal request to Site Management, documents 30-RP/A, 17-030-/A. At least research staff at least 30 days prior to their preferred consultation date. All consultations are to be recorded and retained. I think I mixed up. May request 030 to be temporarily removed from its containment for a maximum of 1 hour to provide observational insight into non-restricted materials or events within Site-17. Under no circumstances is 030 to leave the confines of Site-17. Requests must be presented in person to Site Management and security staff at least 30 days prior to their preferred observational release date. All observational release events are to be recorded and retained. 030 has been equipped with a tracking device, inventory control code number 030-17-1, so its location within Site 1 or 17 may be determined precisely at any time. Maybe I don't quite remember. Description: SCP-030 appears as a hairless, genderless, gray-toned human, 71 centimeters, 28 inches in height, and weighing 12.70 kilograms, 2 British stone in antiquated measure. It is able to convert. Its solid blue eyes lack discernible irises or pupils and resemble small cut sapphires. SCP-030 possesses an androgynous voice with a pronounced English accent, not currently identifiable as specific to any modern region. It is also able to converse, read, and write in ancient Greek, Latin, Italian, English, Spanish, and Portuguese, as well as 2 additional languages that have not yet been identified. Despite 030's instance, they should be common knowledge. 030 has demonstrated knowledge of physics, chemistry, astronomy, mathematics, and horticulture, roughly equivalent to that of a 17th century CE academic. In addition, 030 has demonstrated knowledge on topics along research lines that do not appear in the historical record. These alternative or entirely unknown approaches to research in the natural sciences are one source of 030's utility and consultation. Give me a sec to drink some water. Hi, Ellen. Nor. 030 remains active while a 15-lumen source of light or crater is within 1.5 meters, 5 feet. In the absence of light, 030 becomes inert, apparently losing consciousness and showing no outward signs of life. Within 5 to 10 seconds of being re-exposed to light, 030 becomes active once more, appearing to come out of a light slumber, no matter how long the period of inactivity has been. 030 does not appear to require these periods of inactivity as a human would require sleep, and has expressed a desire to remain as active as often as possible. Biopsy analysis of 030 remains inconclusive. While clay is native to English countries of Kent, Surrey, and Greater London make up the majority of its structure, traces of mandrake, Mandragoria officinarum, lye, mercury, and human blood have been found in each sample taken. 030 has expressed that a full exploratory surgery to determine its workings would potentially end its existence. Samples removed from 030 do not regenerate, and sampling is currently discontinued to preserve its integrity. Although 030 can be damaged, it does not appear to feel pain, and will simply remold any portion of its anatomy that experiences deformation. Notably, 030 cannot be molded directly by human hands, though any number of tools may be used to alter its surface. 030 does not respirate, requires no substance, and produces no waste, although it does infrequently request a bath. 030 refers to itself as Ariel, and regularly requests that staff do the same. Questions regarding how 030 was created and by whom are routinely answered with the seemingly rote statement, "I've been asked to forget that bit of information. Terribly sorry." 030 delivers this response in the same tone and cadence each time any questions regarding its origins or creator are presented. Given its composition and location of origin, a link to the alchemists of Algada is suspected. I'm sure we'll hear about those guys more because they're in red. 030 was discovered 6/12 redacted during a mandatory archaeological survey within London's Mortlake district, pending construction of a car park. It was buried approximately 2.7 meters, 9 feet below street level, contained in a small stone sarcophagus. The sarcophagus bore no markings and was assumed to be that of a deceased infant, as additional graves were discovered in the survey area. The sarcophagus lid was shattered during the excavation, exposing 030 to daylight. Upon being struck by the sun rays, SCP-030 roused from its inert state to one of mild activity within a few seconds, stating "Good morning" to the assembled construction team. A member of the Foundation's Greater London Recon Force was summoned within hours and took the specimen into custody without resistance. The limited numbers of witnesses were given amnestics and released. Yeah, I need a lot of water for this. This is all to strengthen my voice and being able to talk. Because I'm still only a couple weeks in, it's still a lot of difficulty being able to talk for so long. By nature, I'm a very quiet person. I don't physically speak more than a few words a day. I'll see how long this is. Yeah. Addendum 1. Document the 03-C. Security logs for SCP-030. 9:14. Tracking system installed for 030. 12:21. 030 reports malfunction of its own tracking system. Repairs completed within 6 hours. 030 offers to assist, but is refused for security purposes. 3:13. 013 completes an 18-week seminar on Unknown Language Alpha, Zephyr. 5 staff were each year considered fluent. Lexicography transmitted to 0505 redacted. 7:2. Balin consultation, researcher redacted, inadvertently makes several remarks regarding photovoltaic technology. Consultation ended before research can substantively elaborate. 8:12. 030 requests a supply of magnesium and indicates that it intends to ignite samples to study the light produced. Request denied by researchers. 11:14. Incident 30-1. Using only what appears to be standard potting soil, ginger, zingiber officinal, a 72-gram sample of rutilated quartz, and a 23-centimeter length of coiled copper wire, 030 produces an object/device capable of emitting notable levels of directed ultraviolet light through unknown means. Device is confiscated. Effects not currently replicatable without direct intervention from 030. Researchers currently in consultation to determine if this is in line with 030's research will be permitted to continue. It is speculated that 030 may be working towards an alternative and possibly anomalous manifestation of the photoelectric effect after receiving only minimal information regarding its existence. All research by 030 is suspended and materials removed pending review. Yeah, that'd be real nice, Melon. A nice snuggle pile with you, me, and Eleanor. Oh. It's this one. It's not too terrible, it's just depressing a bit. Item number SCP-031. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 031 is currently contained within the Pyongyang Hotel, located in the city of Pyongyang, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. As the nation is located in is currently governed by an authoritarian regime with near complete control of state and national media, the possibility of information regarding 031 being released to the world at large is minimal. As said, regime is also cooperating with the Foundation in order to maintain physical security of the site. Foundation personnel are instructed to comply with their directives so long as they do not interfere with larger Foundation aims. The structure of Ryu Young Hotel serves to contain 031 within the central spire. 3 secondary spires, located at 120-degree intervals from the central pyramid house Type 9 Heaven's Blade restriction systems, calibrated to focus a disruptive energy field towards the central spire. Although unable to prevent physical escape of 031, the system serves to prevent 031's psychic energies from escaping the structure and affecting off-site personnel. Reclamation efforts of the hotel are currently underway, with the local government forces utilizing hazmat-suited personnel armed with flame projectors and chemical sprayers to decontaminate areas affected by 031. However, due to the slow progress of 031's defensive capabilities, reclamation efforts are drastically behind schedule. Personnel who become affected by 031's psychic abilities are to be terminated immediately to prevent their biomatter from becoming incorporated to its physical matrix. 031 is an amorphous organism with a mass of over 7,500 kilograms that has infiltrated the ductwork and maintenance infrastructure of the building. Tendrils emerging from 031's central mass have spread through the hotel's plumbing and ductwork to all 105 rooms of the building. At its peak, over 75% of the hotel's 3,000 rooms were contaminated by 031. Reclamation efforts have destroyed redacted percent of the initial infestation, but over redacted rooms remain affected by 031. 031's tendrils terminate in a pod-like structure, sporocarp, consisting of an ovoid structure approximately 2 meters in length, with multiple cilia-like structures branching off the main body. On some occasions, subjects in the presence of 031 sporocarp will instead perceive it as an individual the subject had a close emotional connection to in their past. The 031 sporocarp will metamorphose into the shape of the person perceived and attempt to persuade the subject to remain with them for an extended period of time. The 031 sporocarp will attempt to make physical contact with the targeted individual with their cilia-like structures. Digestive juices will be injected into the subject's body, and their flesh will be consumed and incorporated into 031's body mass. In the meantime, a secondary flagellum will engulf the subject's cranium and brain, replacing blood vessels with its own tendrils, which will maintain life support of the affected brain by some yet undiscovered means. The tendrils will decerebrate the subject and transport the subject's cranium back through the building's ductwork, where it is incorporated into the central mass. Footage taken through surveillance drones indicate that there are currently redacted crania in the network of tendrils attached to 030 central mass. By all indications, the brains contained within are still alive and may be conscious. Yeah. If I remember correctly, this SCP is containing another SCP-2 in the same building. History: 031 was recovered on 10/22/1948, following contradictory police reports taken after a riot in the city of Redacted, where several civilians had gathered around a refugee camp professing love and devotion to a cult-like leader, whom they referred to as the Beloved. Once initial contact and assessment was made, the civilians were pacified through widespread distribution of inhaled tranquilizers and aerialized amnestics. MTF Psi-7 was able to recover 031 central mass and move it into containment. In its initial form, 031 consisted of a single amorphous entity approximately 75 kilograms in weight, of vaguely humanoid shape. It had not yet manifested the ability to consume and incorporate human biomatter into itself, or any mind-affecting properties, aside from inspiring unusual feelings of love and devotion. As of 11/16/1948, 031 had been classified as safe and was in containment at Site Redacted. Unfortunately, the Korean conflict, which began on 6/25/1950, resulted in the destruction of the Foundation containment site at Pyongyang and the loss of all anomalies contained within. By the end of the conflict in 1953, all other anomalies were accounted for, either recovered or confirmed destroyed, aside from 031, which was presumed lost and in the wild. Yeah, it's... I'd fix that with some good cooking from me. Foundation assets first became aware of the re-emergence of 031 in 1992, when construction on the Ryugyong Poyang Hotel suddenly halted. Personnel realizing the local regime confirmed that an anomalous effect had resulted in the disappearance of numerous workers employed in the construction of the hotel. A Foundation mobile task force was dispatched to investigate. All members of the MTF were subsequently lost in action, and the site was locked down and declared off limits. All work on the Ryugyong Hotel ceased for over 16 years, aside from the installation of the Heaven's Blade restriction systems on the secondary spires. In 2008, increased infiltration of 031 into the building's infrastructure resulted in the possibility of its discovery by outside persons. The local regime immediately ordered that windows be installed on the structure to hide the existence of 031 from others, resulting in the loss of redacted more construction workers. Unfortunately, this was perceived as the resumption of construction on the building, resulting in expectations that the structure would actually be completed and open to the public in the future. Reclamation efforts commenced within the year, utilizing flame and solvent-projecting equipment to destroy the 031 tendrils and sporocarps, each team accompanied by a political officer assigned to terminate any personnel who become assimilated into 031. As of current date, reclamation efforts are still underway. Foundation personnel are continuing to liaise the local regime and monitor their progress, which is slow but steady. I'm gonna have to cut it there, otherwise I'm gonna start losing my voice. So, I'll cut this SCP in half. Thanks for coming and listening to me. If you think of any recommendations you want me to read tomorrow, just whisper or ask in the Discord. Bye.